Imagine crawling into a narrow passage, your body wedged tightly, head facing down, and no way out. That's exactly what happened to Sergeant Donald Weltner. For 4 days, he was trapped deep beneath the earth, and this became one of the most shocking cave tragedies in America. In June 1982, Sergeant Donald Weltner, a veteran, a police officer, and an avid cave exploration enthusiast, decided to explore a small cave system in New Jersey known as Crooked Swamp Cave. This cave is so narrow, dark, and prone to flooding. On the morning of Saturday, March 27th, 1982, a group of Boy Scouts from Troop 116, Millstone Township, New Jersey, prepared to visit Crooked Swamp Cave, a complex and dangerous cave system in Sussex County. Leading the trip was Jim Ewan, an experienced caver with over 30 years of field experience. However, that day, Jim was sick with the flu and chose not to enter the cave. He stayed on the surface acting as a guide. The scout leader and bus driver was Don Weltner, a 48-year-old New Jersey state trooper. The group consisted of 20 people, including 16 children, between the ages of 11 and 16. About half of them had been in a cave before, but most were still beginners. Crooked Swamp Cave is not a cave for beginners. It consists of 1,250 feet of tight passages and branching fissures. The cave is mostly flat, but full of vertical cracks and jagged walls. There are 7 known entrances, but not all are physically passable. Some parts appear connected on maps, but are not traversable in real life, only dotted lines on paper. That morning, the scouts explored the cave in small groups. He carried only a handheld flashlight as his sole light source. After lunch, outside the cave, someone suggested playing manhunt, a kind of hide-and-seek inside the cave, with ice cream as the prize for the winner. 3 kids went in first to hide. 10 minutes later, others entered to hunt. Weltner entered with his 2 sons and 1 other boy, through an entrance near Tree Root Cave. The map showed the sections as connected, though in reality, they weren't fully accessible for adults. This is where the tragedy began. Around 3 p.m, Weltner attempted to crawl through a keyhole-shaped fissure, tight and steep. At that point, the passage was only a few feet high and less than 8 inches wide. Above him was a narrow ledge, a small shelf where someone could support their body. But Weltner slipped off that ledge and slid deeper into the crevice, his head pointed downward, feet above, an extremely dangerous position. This not only made movement impossible, but also accelerated hypothermia and shock. Hypothermia occurs when the human body's core temperature drops below 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Under normal conditions, the human body maintains a core temperature of around 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. But in environments like Crooked Swamp Cave, dark, humid and cramped, the average temperature can be around 10 degrees Celsius or even lower. Now, back to what happened in the cave. At 3:20 p.m, an adult became aware that Weltner was trapped. They tried pulling him out with a rope tied to his feet. It didn't work. At 4:50 p.m, a child was able to push Weltner's foot forward by 9 to 12 inches, but his pants snagged on a rock, halting movement. At that point, his voice began to fade. His body temperature was dropping, early signs of hypothermia. They searched for a board to help lift him, but nothing suitable was found. Between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m, rescue teams were called in, Blue Ridge Rescue Squad and the NCRC. By 7:30 p.m, Weltner's voice was slurred. His body heat continued to drop. Heating methods were attempted, hot water, warm blankets, even electric heaters, but none reached far enough into the crevice. By 1 a.m. the next day, it was clear that Weltner was in critical condition. Around 3 a.m, there were no longer any signs of life. At 6 a.m, a rescuer was able to reach and feel residual body heat in Weltner's thigh. Now, the time had come for an emergency extraction. A 20-foot deep vertical shaft was drilled from the surface in an attempt to reach Weltner. But after 12 hours of drilling, the shaft missed the target by 10 to 12 feet. From Sunday night through Monday midnight, the team widened the tunnel toward Weltner's position using drills, hydraulic splitters and explosives. By Monday night, they were able to fit a chest harness around Weltner and move his body about 2 feet, but he still couldn't be fully extracted. Starting at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, the team began blasting the rock using a backhoe and drilling equipment. Weltner's body was finally extracted at 11:40 p.m. on Tuesday, already deceased. He sustained post-mortem injuries due to the use of heavy machinery during extraction. After his body was recovered, investigators discovered a rock behind Weltner's right hip that acted as a keystone, a critical piece that held his body in place. The primary error was Weltner's own. Too bold, too confident, entering a section far too narrow for an adult. Jimmy Wint cited several contributing factors: the competitive mindset of the manhunt game, a need to redeem himself after failing to navigate a passage earlier that day, a misjudgment about the cave's layout and connections, and a lack of awareness about the risks of tight spaces. Cave exploration is not a game. In the underground world, courage is not about who goes the deepest, but who knows when to turn back. The Crooked Swamp cave tragedy is a brutal reminder that a single reckless decision can turn adventure into catastrophe, and that in caves, what goes in doesn't always come out.